We had a good bunch of guys. We were very closely knit. Kind of like the Brewers are playing ball today. They're bunting, they're moving runners, they're playing baseball. And that's what we did. We enjoyed it. We enjoyed each other and rooted for each other. There was nobody that was the star on our group. We all were stars. We chalk off our third base line, our coach's box, batter's box. We do all that before the game. Jake Ailhoffen was the umpire, was a great guy. And I remember I chewed tobacco like a lot of the guys back in those days, and I spit my tobacco out, and it hit the plate a little bit, and Jake says, "One more time, you are out of here."
One of my memories of playing with the Lithias in Tri-County games, those were on Saturday afternoons, and we would have a good time. Win or lose, we would make our way back home and hit about 3 or 4 stops on the way home. And that was my memories. Good camaraderie with all the guys here. All the guys here.
Benefit game, they brewed special beer, and it was a game that for the threshold, or for the well, it was ARC at that time. It was connected to the threshold. And so they brewed a beer and sold that beer at the concession stand when we played Barton and West Bend. So I think that's a 1980 beer. We had John Rozek and Steve Soxie and Jeff Sarauer and Bill Freilich. So just a lot of different guys.
I came right out of the service, and that's what kind of started my playing days again. It's ended up going to junior college after that and University of Kentucky. So without the Lithias, I don't know that I would have had that opportunity to do what I did. So yeah, and then just to be around this bunch of guys, I mean, we had so much fun. Not only the games, but it was after the game. I said, to be young again, to do the things that we did. There wasn't a tavern around that we didn't stop at on the way home.
No, we had a lot of big hitters. We had Mitch and Doug and Jed Wolfeltz, and we did play some small ball, but we had a lot of power, so scored a lot of runs.
There was a time when we played Thiensville, and the umpire forgot his cup. And Tommy goes, "Oh, I got an extra one." So he gave the guy a cup. So somewhere in between the third and maybe fifth inning, Tom gets thrown, gets kicked out of the game for something, and I want my cup back.
My best memory of the Lithias was my first practice. I came down here and Mark Nutsy Schleif showed up, had his spikes in his glove in one hand and his six-pack in the other. This was practice, mind you. Sat down, had 2 beers before he put his spikes on. I'm like, this is going to be a good team.
People here, my best memory is my first game. I parked down here. I was supposed to meet a guy named Nutsy, and Nutsy picked us up in a van, and I sat in the back of the van. I don't even think there were any seats back there. I might have sat on a cooler, and there were a couple other guys back there drinking beer before we went to the first game. So I thought, wow, this is going to be a hell of a baseball team. But it was really a lot of fun, and appreciate John getting everybody together. It was great.
We didn't know if we had the jersey yet from all those years back, and my wife kept it in the costume bin, what we call our costume bin. So if anybody needed a Halloween costume and go as a baseball player, that's where it was. And she found it in there, and of course these jerseys shrink when they're in the bin over these years, and it's a little tight, so I can't button it right now. I remember we had a very good team. I remember Johnny Jazak, Mitch Knox, Doug Gonring were superstars in that league, and I think we won a championship or 2, and I only played about 5 years, and when family and kids came around, then that was it. But it was super fun, especially with John Rozek as the coach.
Why?
He was awesome.
Why?
Why was he awesome? He was just what you would call a player's coach, like everybody got along, or if there was any kind of personality conflicts, John could smooth it out. He just was an awesome coach.
I just come out of high school as a catcher, and then I had to catch Mitch, and I wasn't quite sure what had happened, but I'd never caught anything like that before. It was pretty fast and moved a lot, and I wasn't catching much of them, but had a good time.
I don't know, it was the bottom of the ninth or whatever, and Slinger was getting ready to celebrate the championship because they were beating us like 9-7. And I'm not sure if it was Mitch and Kurt Meinberg, I think, came up at the bottom of the ninth, and he smacked some home runs, and those guys from Slinger were ready to celebrate, and they turned around, they handed us all the champagne bottles and said, "Here, you guys, have fun celebrating." So that was fun. And I would say this too, amongst all the players that I've ever played with, this is the greatest team. You guys, older guys and stuff like that, it was fun playing with you. So.
Well, he was East, I was West coming out of high school, and we were both good catchers. Doug was a little bit better than me with a scholarship to Arizona. Arkansas, sorry. And when I joined the Lithias, I mean, it was just a blast. It was a lot of fun playing with these guys. So.
We never got to do that all growing up, Little League or anything, and
we always played against each other.
We always played against each other.
Yeah. So.
It was a blessing. We had a good time.
It was fun.
Remember any of the names of the older taverns?
Oh, the Pitcher's Mound here. Trying to think of Tomei's, old Tomei's, and the one in Barton. I forget they changed the name.
Bag End?
Bag End, yeah, that was another one. Yep. Grand Larceny. Yeah, we get them all.
Yes, we were very good, especially with the guys that I mentioned. I mean, those guys, I learned more in 2 years of Lithias than I did my whole career of baseball, just from guys like Mitch Knox and Doug Gonner. They taught me a lot of baseball. This is coming off of, we won in '84, we won the state baseball championship. And so you think you know a lot about baseball, and then I go and play with these guys, I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish I knew that before. But they taught me a lot.
What was the position that you played?
I was a pitcher and sort of utility, but when I wasn't pitching, I played second base and some outfield.
What year was this?
I started in the summer of '84 and went to about, I want to say 90. I think the year I got married, I think was the last year that so 1990, 84 to 90.
You played at the old Carl Kuss Stadium. What do you remember about that? What are some...
Oh, I remember the ivy on the outfield fence. I remember the telephone poles being on inside. Yeah, it was a neat diamond to play on, especially when you went to other places like, Port Washington. Their diamonds were not very nice, and then you'd come here and we had one of the best diamonds around.